Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Man, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Trains are wrecking, chicken houses are burning down, UFOs flying around. There's enough crap out there to keep everybody distracted from what the hell's going on. It is crazy time out there, crazy time. Anyways, let's get to Iraq, because those guys had a chance to come out to Washington and this squeeze was put on them. Biden's putting a crackdown on Iraq just because they won't stop funding Iran. This is what happens when you get a coordinated framework in there. These are people who are loyal to Iran, not Iraq. And that includes the prime minister that's there, forcing Biden and the United States Federal Reserve to put the squeeze on Iraq, and it's affecting their dinar. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPYSILVER. Yes, it has changed. PIMPYSILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos, because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. Feel free to pause the video, go ahead and write it down, and reach out to me if you'd like. So only a few more days of looking like a liberal. Yes, see, at least I'm a man of my word when it comes to betting, although this is a ridiculous color. And it's kind of growing on me just a little bit. So the central banks, the bank outlets to sell foreign currency, continue to work by selling dollars. Remember, everybody was clamping down on dollars, making them real scarce. And the more scarce they are, then they rise up against the dinar in exchange. Iraq is trying to get permission from the United States to get more U.S. dollars so they can release them in their country and drive the value down against the dinar. So the Central Bank of Iraq on Tuesday called on citizens who wanted to travel to countries allowed to deal in the U.S. dollar currency to go to the outlets and banks, exchange companies, and companies to mediate the sale and purchase of foreign currencies licensed to buy dollars at the specified official price. The central bank noted in a statement received by the news, the sale of the dollar will be in accordance with the instructions and controls of the Central Bank of Iraq, stressing that in the event that any of the banks or companies refrain from selling at the official price, the numbers, whatever the heck that means, or it is noteworthy that the ports of banks to sell foreign currency continue to work by selling dollars in accordance with the instructions and controls of the Central Bank of Iraq, which earlier launched a package of measures to contribute to the stability of the foreign currency market. All right, this is what I was talking about. So the U.S. is reporting that the Iraqi delegation in Washington came under severe pressure from the Biden administration. I think the severe pressure comes from them trying to understand what he's saying sometimes, or the fact that he just mumbles or gets off subject. I'm sure the delegation thought it was their translation into English that was messed up. Come to find out, it's just the way Biden speaks. Middle East Institute reported that the administration of the U.S. President Biden pressured the Iraqi delegation that visited Washington recently in order to push Baghdad to redirect the Iraqi energy sector away from Iran and to deal with accusations that its banking sector is helping the Iranian regime by evading Western sanctions. This has been going on for a long time. It's not new. Not at all. To me, this is all just smoke and mirrors. The reason why I say that is they're acting like they're being hard on Iran, but I don't believe it, not for a second. Biden really is a China puppet despite what the heck's going on, and they are allies with Iran. You notice that ever since the Iran nuclear deal has been taken off the table, they've actually just slowly but surely moving forward with their program and getting closer and closer to weapons grades. And they'll just say, oh, it's Trump's fault. That's what they always do. Biden could have done something about it, but he didn't. He loosened up some sanctions and then talked a good talk and hasn't done anything since. And he's acting like he's attempting, meanwhile allowing Iran to continue forward with their nuclear program. So an American report translated by the news pointed out that the Iraqi government is in an economically and politically difficult situation as it faces a reaction at home due to the sharp decline in the value of the dinar in light of increasing restrictions by the U.S. Federal Reserve on the dollar, withdrawals from the central banks of Iraq. So, of course, here's the thing. You got a government that's friendly to Iran. They're Iranian puppets. So it kind of puts them between a rock and a hard place. Because if the public is pissed at them come re-election, that should be coming up here in a few months, as long as they keep the word about early elections, then they have to make sure that they're in the graces of the public. And if the U.S. keeps putting a squeeze down on the U.S. dollars and driving down the value of the dinar, which, like I said, the U.S. dollar is being used as a weapon to crush currencies, it's just going to make them look bad. And when come election time, then there's a good chance to get voted out of office. The report explained that the Biden administration used the meeting held in Washington on the Strategic Framework Agreement with senior Iraqi officials headed by Foreign Minister Hussein to pressure Iraq to limit its economic relations with Iran. They keep getting pressure not to deal with Iran, but the Americans had put together a deal between Iran and Iraq for a transit train that goes back and forth between the two countries. That's going to be about $210 million to put together. Go figure. It's like the Americans claiming that they're boycotting and got sanctions against Russia for their nickel, but all they do is have India buy the nickel from Russia, and then they buy from India just so it doesn't look like they're buying from Russia. Come on now. The same thing with the gas. Let's pull one over on American people. Let them look like we're in sanctions when they're not. They just circumventing it. On the other hand, the report said that the American side was more sharp in expressing its position, and the U.S. Secretary of State publicly urged Iraq to be independent in the field of electricity, which means that the Baghdad government must find alternatives to Iranian energy imports in order to feed Iraq's struggling energy sector. Well, Germany is supposed to be putting up these generators for energy. So however long that's taken, if the United States really wanted them out of there, they would send over a whole army of people and install those generators right away instead of dragging butt. So the report stated that a U.S. delegation that visited Iraq in the past exerted the same pressure on Iraqis to progress in the implementation of these regional energy projects. Well, they have put generators up before, except for somebody kept blowing them up. The report pointed out that, on the other hand, the most pressing issue from Iraqis' point of view related to the measures taken by the Federal Reserve last November to impose restrictions on the U.S. dollar transfers from the oil revenue accounts of the Iraqi government in New York to the Central Bank of Iraq. Restrictions that reduce dollar flows from the central bank to customers of local commercial banks seeking to transfer dollars out of Iraq, as the Federal Reserve is currently scrutinizing receipts of dollar transfers to ensure that they do not violate U.S. sanctions on Iran and Syria. There's 50 million different ways they could do it. I mean, like they said before, they're creating fake companies with fake overpriced invoices just as an excuse to do business in dollars. According to the report, the decline in electronic transfers from New York caused an increase in the demand of the paper dollar, and thus a rise in the dollar exchange rate inside of Iraq, which resulted in high import prices, which sparked sharp popular discontent against the Sudanese government. So Iraq delegation went over there to try to ease tensions between the two countries and get the United States to loosen up on sending dollars over here to help control the exchange rate. The Central Bank of Iraq issues a warning against dealing with betting in its name. So apparently people are creating companies or fake websites claiming to be the Central Bank of Iraq and taking advantage of people, which is not cool. Al-Rashid announces the controls for the traveler's access to the dollar and the upper limits. The bank said in a statement that was received by the news, what is required of the traveler is a passport in addition to a plane ticket and a visa or residential permit, provided that it's original and photocopies. The need for the traveler to come early in the flight to complete the receipt procedures, knowing that the work is proceeding smoothly and incorrect because of any congestion or delay in the procedures. Okay, that's what it says. Said the foreign minister, Iraq seeks to hold Baghdad 3 corporations and partnership conferences. And this is in here just talking about what they need to do to really get Iraq on track and bringing in new business. Talks about Iraq's role. You can see Iraq's regional role in bringing together views in the region and Iraq's cooperative relations in both Egypt and Jordan within the framework of the tripartite merchandise and the close cooperation between Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the rest of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. In his final statement, he supported Iraq's security and economically in order to achieve its stability, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, and called on the countries of the Arab Mashreq and its neighbors to deal with the challenges of the region on the basis of cooperation, mature interests, and good neighborliness. Okay. So it's not just that. Look, the Iraq delegation knows how important it is to make sure that they are in lockstep with the United States and they're abiding by all rules and stop being sneaky, because it's making things really hard over there on the Iraqi people and on this government for the most part if they continue to do what they're doing. Al-Sidini wanted to make sure that the United States understood that Iraq is moving as quickly as possible to make sure that their banking and financial are implementing the proper software needed so that they can link to this global banking system. In other words, the New World Order stuff. So that's one thing that was emphasized as well. Look, Iraq is trying to do all the things necessary to be on track to do the right things. But is it just a show just to try to get things that they want? Or are they serious about everything? It's kind of hard to have a government that's actually loyal to another country other than the one that they run. We know what that's like here with the Democrats. But anyways, they'll get it together. Just feel positive. They know where they got to be. And that's what they're trying to achieve, is get down to that 1-to-1 exchange rate. I don't think that's coming sooner than people know. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. I look forward to your comments, and I'll get back at you later. I'm out.